Scottsdale Railroad and Mechanical Society, 2013 Scottsdale History Hall of Fame. Scottsdale residents and visitors have differing opinions on many issues, but there's one thing everyone agrees on: what a special place the McCormick-Stillman Railroad Park is. Since it opened in 1975, the Railroad Park has been a gathering point for young and the young at heart, families, school groups, reunions, music lovers, veterans, and train buffs. It has continued to provide recreation, entertainment, and history lessons to hundreds of thousands every year, thanks in large measure to the nonprofit Scottsdale Railroad and Mechanical Society. The park and the society have a history that dates back to the early 1940s, when Ann and Fowler McCormick established a ranch north of Scottsdale, with headquarters near the intersection of Scottsdale and Indian Bend roads. Fowler was chairman of the board of International Harvester at the time, and Ann, a well-known patron of the arts and Arabian horses. After serving in World War II and briefly living in Phoenix, Ann's son, Guy Stillman, a lifelong train enthusiast, and his family settled on a portion of the McCormick's property. He set up a 5/12 scale rideable train, much to the delight of his children and their friends. In 1967, Fowler, Ann, and Guy donated acreage known as the South Ranch to Scottsdale for use as a city park that would have a railroad theme. Guy worked diligently to raise private funds to get the 30-acre park up and running. He called in all kinds of favors, from the U.S. Marine Corps Reserves to Senator Barry Goldwater, his friends at Rotary, and many more, who donated money and in-kind services for the proposed railroad park. Stillman also established the Scottsdale Railroad and Mechanical Society in October 1971, which provided a mechanism for receiving donations and a board to oversee how the funds would be spent into the future. The city provided basic construction of the park, while the society funded almost all of the park's amenities that went beyond the city's parks and recreation budget. One of the first projects funded by the Scottsdale Railroad and Mechanical Society was a train shed. This was needed to house and maintain the engine and cars of the Paradise and Pacific Railroad, Guy's personal 5/12 scale train that he was donating to the park. The 5,000 square foot train shed was completed in November 1972. It included a turntable, machine shop, engine service facilities, and an apartment for the resident train engineer. This was all accomplished without using city funds. Through Guy's efforts, a Marine Corps engineering company laid tracks and built trestles on weekends for the Paradise and Pacific Railroad, with materials funded or funneled through the society. Finally, in October 1975, hundreds of excited kids, their parents, and grandparents turned out for the grand opening of the park and a ride on the Paradise and Pacific. Once the park was open and instantly popular, the society continued its behind-the-scenes work to provide funds for maintenance beyond the city budget, recruit volunteer labor, and add train-themed attractions and amenities that would appeal to all age groups. Historic train cars were located, funded, and restored using society funds. Among the engines and cars at the park are the Magma locomotive that is part of Arizona mining history, the Santa Fe boxcar, and several railroad cars that are used as the snack stop and to host children's birthday parties. The society also funded wheelchair lifts for the cabooses to extend their use to children of all abilities. The society worked with the late Zena Kuhn to obtain and restore the Gratitude boxcar, which was sent by the people of France in 1949 as a thank you to U.S. citizens for their war relief efforts. One of the Society's most historic acquisitions was the Roald Amundsen Pullman car, donated by May Sue and Franz Talley in 1973. President Franklin D. Roosevelt and Canadian Prime Minister King signed the Ogdensburg Declaration of Mutual Defense in the car in 1940. Both nations celebrated the 50th anniversary of the Ogdensburg Treaty at the railroad park in 1990. Presidents Hoover, Roosevelt, Truman, and Eisenhower all used the Pullman car, which is open to the public as a museum and was placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 2012. The Society, its benefactors and members, funded relocation and restoration of the Peoria and Aguila depots and the Gabe Brooks Machine Shop, as well as playground equipment and shade structures. They also helped to create a museum of train artifacts and memorabilia. Most recently, the Society funded a new model train club building, for which they also provide funds for free admission. Since opening in January 2011, over 300,000 have visited the model train building. The Society also worked with Ruth and Hartley Barker on several park amenities, particularly Hartley's General Store. During park upgrades in the late 1990s, the Society worked with the Scottsdale Charros to bring an historic carousel from the New England area and pay for its restoration. The Scottsdale Charros Carousel is one of the most popular attractions at the McCormick-Stillman Railroad Park. Park visionary and Scottsdale Railroad and Mechanical Society founder Guy Stillman passed away in 1995, but he had already put a succession plan into place. He enlisted his close friend Bill Soderquist to take over the society and also ensured that his adult children were active and involved board members. For the past several years, Guy's daughter, Cherie Stillman Brookhart, has chaired the board of the Scottsdale Railroad and Mechanical Society. She has fond childhood memories of riding her father's model train in their own backyard and is honored to give that same thrill to thousands of residents and visitors who come to the park every year. Cherie estimates that in the 42 years the Scottsdale Railroad and Mechanical Society has existed, it has donated over $4 million in funds and materials to the park and its operations. Beyond funding new buildings and attractions at the park, the Society funds a variety of routine items, from brochures to concrete to paint and freezers. The Society also helps fund many of the park's signature events, such as Exclusively Little, Special Day for Special Kids, the Summer Concert Series, Rail Fair, and Holiday Lights. When it pays for a new facility or amenity, the Scottsdale Railroad and Mechanical Society turns it over to the City of Scottsdale. The Society, however, continues to own the rolling stock or trains as well as the carousel. Everyone has their favorite place in Scottsdale, where they've created special memories with their friends and family. Many would name the McCormick-Stillman Railroad Park as that favorite place. Kids that played there in the late 1970s are now taking their grandchildren there. The park nurtures the train nostalgia in all of us. The Scottsdale Railroad and Mechanical Society, its board, and its members have quietly and behind the scenes made so many of these happy memories possible. We all owe this dedicated, all-volunteer group a huge and heartfelt thank you.